Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Roy back again. This experiment here, let's learn how to capture the back EMF off of this coil here. All right. So how the setup is here, this coil is going to be pulsing the motor for the wheel to turn. Connected through the core on this side is a coil that goes to nothing. Okay, so what we're capturing is the electromagnetic field that's in the iron core releasing through the coil. And how we're capturing that energy is we're using a capacitor with a full wave bridge rectifier on bottom. So we're rectifying the pulse that's being transformed in this coil from the back EMF of this coil being fired, and we're going to collect that energy, and I want to show you a couple things, okay? So let's go ahead and pulse. Let's go ahead and pulse this and look at the voltmeter, and you'll see the volts climb. Right now it's just half a volt in there, a little bit more. And we'll pulse it. It went up to 11 volts, okay? Stored in that capacitor, one pulse rate. It's holding 11.5 volts. 11 volts, almost 12. And you're seeing the wheel turn a little bit, so. All right. One side would be pulsing, turning the motor. This side here would be collecting the other half of the energy that's being disposed of on this front pushing coil. Actually a pulling coil. So when this is activated, the juice is running into the iron core, and when the iron core is saturated and this is disconnected, it will run back out of this coil here. And if you didn't have that coil to capture, you would just waste the energy. Here we're going to capture the energy. We're going to save it. Look at that. 13.55 volts in this capacitor from a couple taps. Let's go ahead and see if I can get this thing turning slow. Not really set up for moving yet, but I just want to give you the idea. Now all I have to do is pulse this, and this motor should turn. Now, let's go ahead and see. We got 18 volts built up. So let's say we want to, I'm going to show you something. If I wanted to add more capacitance. Now this capacitor is I got a loose one here, is a 2200 microfarad at 25 volts. So that means there's 2200 microfarads stored in this capacitor when you're at 25 volts. So we're sitting almost 18 volts. So that would, to me, would leave 7/10 left. So, I don't know if 7/10, but it leaves, say we're about 3/4 filled. So we don't have 2200 microfarads of capacitance in here. We have a little bit less, okay? That a third way full less. A third less, okay. Now, let's go ahead and take a capacitor. I want you to look at the volts. It's 17 and change. We're going to add another capacitor in line with this one. So we're going to say this is the negative. We get ready to hook up the other side. So what do you expect? Well, what will happen is this volts will decrease in half. So it's at 1704. And there it is. Now it's at 9. So almost half. So half the voltage is in here, half the voltage is in there. So now we can look at volts and say, well, what else happened? Well, it took the capacitance along with it. So here we have half of the capacitance here, half of the capacitance over there. And its proof is shown up by volts. So now we have that still full, 3/4 full, but split up between two. So let's go ahead and move the wheel a little bit more. And look at the volts. Now I got the bar far away from the magnet. So now we're up to 17 volts. But now we're at 17 volts and we got double the capacitance. Just wanted to show you guys. So what we did here is we took the PMH, we, instead of using both coils as a field magnet, we only use one. We collect the energy that would be wasted in the backside of onto this coil. We take that, we build it in capacitance, and then we use it to do something. We can use it to try to do conservative, which is we put another PMH up and we come out of that saved energy, and once the wheel's turning, it could have another coil set up identically like this, and so the other coil would be a turning coil, but also would be making its own back EMF on the other coil. So maybe we could rotate coils. I got to think about that one, but it's endless of what we can do with this wheel. And I just recharged the magnets by just using the PMH, and right now it's pretty strong. Pretty strong. It's not all about the strength of the magnets, but it's also, it does matter. But we're going to be able to work through the process of storing the energy. All right, guys, leave your comments. Hopefully you appreciate the video. Let me see, what do I have here? 15 volts. 15 volts. Oh yeah. It's a lot of capacitance. Still got 10 volts in the other one. Look at that. That capacitor still has 5 volts in it. There you go, Sparkadoo. So a lot of capacitance built. You can see it showing up in the voltmeter. Sorry about that. All right, leave your comments. Peace out.